how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. It is officially the start of my makeup collection and declutter series that I do every year. I'm so pumped. Over the next, probably trickling into December, over the next 6 weeks or so, we are going to be tackling my full makeup collection, do some decluttering, all that good stuff. I'm so pumped. It's always a little daunting, not gonna lie, but I'm very excited just to, you know, kind of get rid of some things that I'm not using, things I'm not loving anymore. Maybe some things are just frankly too old to like be kept in my collection. I'm just excited for like a sense of renewal. I'm excited for my drawers to get a little emptier. It always just feels like such a good reset in my life, and I'm very pumped that it's time now. In this particular one, I'm gonna be tackling my complexion products. So my primers, foundations, concealers, setting powders, setting sprays, all that good stuff. That always seems like a great place to start, but all the fun stuff is coming, don't you worry. My cheek products, my weird miscellaneous things like liners and lashes and things like that. We'll have all my lips, that's gonna be a big one. My singles, my liquid shadows. Of course, my eyeshadow palettes will be the grand finale. I'm so excited. Before we hop into the video itself, I did of course film this look. It's part of a recent 3 looks, 3 palettes video that should already be up on my channel. And as far as my accessories go, I don't really have a whole lot happening right now, but this hat is from Witchwood Bags. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and do some decluttering. I can't believe it is this time of year. It is officially declutter season. Can you believe it? I can't believe it's already this time. I feel like I just did this last year. And here we are again. Like I said in the intro, this one's gonna be focused on my like complexion products. So we have primer, foundation, concealer, powder, and setting spray. All the things. I have way more than I thought I did. Like my primer selection grew so much. I don't know when this happened, but we need to declutter this a good bit. Let me get you my numbers. So my grand total for everything I'm going to talk about today is 59, but I'll break down the individual numbers once we get there. With my grand total of 59, I'm really hoping to cut this down by at least a third to a half. Like I'd love it to be no more than 40, maybe closer to 30, but we'll just kind of see. I want to keep the things that I use and get rid of the things that I don't. That's essentially how this goes, you know? But as usual, a few housekeeping things. Number 1, please don't get offended if I happen to declutter your favorite thing. I'm so glad that it's your favorite thing. It's just not my favorite, and that's okay. We can all have different preferences, and that's what makes makeup fun. Number 2, please don't ask me to send you anything. I feel very weird and icky giving used makeup to people I don't know. I give dibs to my close friends and family. I donate what I'm able to, and I dispose of the things that are beyond their prime. And last but not least, please don't feel pressured to declutter your collection. This is just what I like to do at the end of the year. It gives me that sense of a fresh start. It's just what I need in my life. It's okay if you don't need it in yours. You don't need to get rid of your stuff. But with all that being said, let's hop in to the primers. We have 17 here. This specifically, I think we can probably cut in half pretty easily. How am I gonna do this? I guess let me start with some of my favorites, and then maybe I can do some of my least favorites, and we'll keep going from there. So let's figure it out. This is one of my tops. The e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. Mine's in the shade 0.5 Fair. I love this as a primer. I love wearing this by itself on like a no makeup day, or even just a no foundation, but I'm still wearing other makeup day. This is just one of my favorite things of all time. This is my second tube of it. I love it. It's absolutely staying. My Glossier Future Dew is also staying. Like this is one of my top favorites. I think this is also my second bottle. I just love this. It just looks so beautiful. It's so glowy and amazing. It looks good by itself or with foundation layered on top of it. I love this stuff. I've really been enjoying this Merit primer, actually, the priming moisturizer. It's just very hydrating and it makes my skin feel very plush. It's very nice. I like the pump. It's just good. So I'm gonna keep this one. I think I'm also gonna keep my 3 Hydro Grips from Milk Makeup. This is the glowy one. This one has like a golden shimmer sheen. It doesn't really make my foundation dewier, but it leaves like a golden glow as like a background, you know? And then just the classic Hydro Grip. It's like a hydrating but gripping primer. I have a full size and a travel size because when I travel, it's nice to have a mini to bring with me. So I'm gonna keep all of these. I guess in the spirit of minis, I'll also keep this little mini e.l.f. one. It's the Power Grip Primer. I actually got this as a gift recently, and I do like this primer. And since it's a mini, I'll keep it so that I can have another option for travel. This is basically a dupe for the Milk Hydro Grip, actually. But it's really nice, so I'll keep this one too. Well, two that I don't want to keep are the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. This is just too mattifying for me. Like, I don't like a blurring and mattifying primer. If you have oily skin, this would probably be great. I have normal to dry skin for reference, and this doesn't make my skin look bad. I just don't like the pore filling, blurring, mattifying effect. It's just not my thing. And then this Cloud Glow one, I thought I liked it, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel like it's almost just a little gimmicky. It comes out like a little like foam like that. And I mean, it feels nice. Like, it feels just kind of pleasant, but I don't know if it really does much for how my makeup lays on top of it. And I also heard, I don't know the science behind it, so I could be misspeaking, and if so, I'm sorry. But I heard, I think Kelly Gooch say that there's an ingredient in this that negates your sunscreen. So we can't have that. So that on top of the fact that, like, even though it feels nice when you first apply it, like, it just feels like, I don't know, just light and fluffy. I don't feel like it's doing anything for my makeup, so I don't need to keep this one. I think I can also part ways with these Flower Beauty ones. These are fine. Like, I have the Skin Smoothie Radiant Glow and the Skin Smoothie Hydro Pop. They do exactly what you would expect based on those names. One's more glowy, one's more hydrating, but they're just almost gone. Like, I'm down to like the very bottom, and I have so many primers. I think I'm good to just call these ones done. They're not like fully depotted, if you will. I didn't completely finish them, but they're on their way out, so I think I'm good to just let these ones go. Oh, I do love the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I think I'll keep this one. This one's very smoothing. It does give you kind of that smoothed effect, but it's not in like a blurring, mattifying kind of way, so I do really like this one. Honestly, the Pixi Flawless Beauty Primer is very similar. This is very highlighty though, and I do like a glowy base, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I forget about this primer. So I think I can let this one go. It's just like, it's fine. It's kind of glowy and smoothing, but I don't know, I forget about it, so I don't think I need it. This Ilia Base Milk is kind of more of like almost a skincare product. Like, it's like a hydrating, milky sort of texture. I feel like it's really hard to like show you what this looks like, because it's just bright white. But I keep this with my primers rather than my skincare, because I feel like this is a good base layer if I'm just feeling really, really dry, or as a mix-in with foundations if I want to sheer it out a little bit. So I am going to keep it for that purpose, and I feel like this is going to last forever because I only need a couple like drops every time I use this. It's great. Sometimes I use these for mix-ins as well. We have the Flower Beauty Afterglow Luminous Serum and the Undefined Beauty R&R Sun Elixir Glow Oil. Now, this glow oil is actually really nice. I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to declutter it at the same time. I'm going to move this downstairs with my skincare. There was a time where I was mixing this with foundations and stuff. I'm just not finding myself doing that. But now that I'm holding it again, I think I will use this a lot more if I keep it downstairs with my skincare, with my sunscreen. So I'm technically decluttering it from my collection. I'm going to count this as a declutter for the video, but I am just adding this like downstairs. So I'm going to consider that a declutter. The Afterglow Serum from Flower Beauty, I've had for a very long time. It's almost gone, actually. I had this for a very, very, very long time. So just similar to some of the other primers I have that I've used most of, I think I can let this one go. I have other things I can mix into foundations. I have liquid highlighters I can use. I have that Ilia Base Milk. I think it's time to let this one go. And the last primer is the What's Up Beauty Positivity Lightweight Face Primer. You know, when I used this, and I've used it a few times at this point, like quite a few times, like probably a dozen times or so. It feels really nice. It's very hydrating. It's on this like little squeezy guy. It's very hydrating and milky feeling. I don't really have other primers I'm keeping that are quite like this one. I think I'm gonna keep this one. I feel like this one does offer differences compared to other things I have. So out of the primer specifically, started with 17, I decluttered 7, now I have 10. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's move on to foundation now. Moving on to foundation, I have 20. I have too many. In my personal opinion, I just think this is too many. My drawer was getting very full. I'm ready to condense this down. I think we can get close to half of these gone, maybe not a full half, but maybe close. I don't need this many. There's ones that I genuinely don't like. There's ones that I have that are very old. I can do some decluttering. But again, let's start with maybe some things that I love. I think my current favorite foundation of all time is this one, the Soft Glam from e.l.f., the Satin Foundation. It's like a medium buildable. It is beautiful. And again, just for reference, my skin is normal to dry, and I tend to prefer Sheer to light, I'm willing to go medium like this, but even with this one, I'll just use a smaller amount to make it more of a light coverage. It's beautiful. My shade is Fair Neutral. Fair Neutral is honestly my go-to with anything. Foundation-wise, that's just the shade that tends to work for me. I love this, so I'm absolutely keeping it. I've also been obsessed with this one from Merit. It's like a stick foundation, and it is the most beautiful stick foundation I've ever used in my entire life. It is so, I feel like light to medium, maybe even full if you built it up enough. It is so lightweight and just beautifully stunning on the skin. Mine's in the shade Bone. It is just incredible. I love this with my whole heart. My other longtime favorite, I've loved this for years, the Stay Naked Hydromaniac. I've honestly had this particular one for a long time. Mine's in the shade 20 Fair. It's just beautiful. Again, it's like a medium buildable, but again, if you use a lighter amount, it can be more of that light coverage if you prefer that like me. It's just delicious. It looks so just like a natural glow on the skin. It's beautiful. Let's do some that I don't need. These two from It Cosmetics. This one I never should have even tried. I should have just given this to a friend. It's full coverage matte. No, this looks horrible on my skin. I do not like full coverage matte. I hate the way it looks. The regular CC cream is better because it's not matte. It's more of a natural finish, but I just don't like full coverage. And I can mix things into this to sheer it out a bit and make it work better for me. But when there's other foundations in my collection that I just genuinely like more, why would I keep this one around? Both are the shade Fair. These are just not for me. Not for me, and that's okay. Oof, another one that is just not for me is the Urban Decay Bond. Again, it is just very matte. It's like medium to full coverage depending on how much you use. Mine's the shade Fair Neutral, number 2. It's just not for me. This looks bad on my skin personally. I don't love it. I know so many people love this. I'm not the target audience. This one is a sad one. This one I feel like could become one of my favorite complexion products of all time. It's the Smashbox Halo Tinted Moisturizer. It is so beautiful. I adore the finish. I adore the glow. It is insane, but they sent me the wrong shade. They sent me light. This very much looks yellowy and a little too dark unless I'm very careful with it. If I mix in light concealers in certain spots or mix it with other things, I can make it work. But again, when I have other things in my collection that I already love, I don't want to have to make it work. So I do see myself picking up my correct shade one day, getting a fair or a fair neutral. But this is just not my color. So it breaks my heart because I love this. It's a recent discovery and I think it's absolutely stunning. It's just, it doesn't match me. I do like my Salt New York Balm. This is great. It's whatever shade number 1 is. It's the lightest. It's so good. It's just a very comfy, lightweight, like balmy foundation. It's beautiful. I definitely want to keep it. A good travel one, like this in the stick, great for travel because it's not liquid. The Huda Beauty one, I think I can let go of. This is a stick I've had in my collection for years and years and years and years. And I don't think it's a bad foundation stick. If anything, I was keeping it because it was a foundation stick that I was still really vibing with. But now that I've discovered the Merit one, that's the new ultimate foundation stick, I can let this one go. It's old, it needs to go. I do love like a skin tint, like a tinted moisturizer. This is the Glossier one. I think it's in the shade 1. I think it got rubbed off. It's the lightest one. And then I have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh in the shade Fair 1N. Very lightweight, very sheer. You have to like a sheer coverage, which I do. These are beautiful, especially like peak summer. These are to die for. I just love them. The finish is so lightweight. It's so beautiful. I'm feeling so attached to what's remaining in front of me. This is gonna be so tough. I just know in my heart of hearts, I don't need to keep all of these. Like the Smashbox Always On, it looks good. It's not a bad one by any means. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. It's just not one that I'm really thinking about reaching for. This one's the shade F10N. Why did Smashbox send me the fair in this one, but then the light in the tinted moisturizer? Breaks my heart. But this isn't really what I'm thinking about. This is more of like a medium buildable coverage. Like it's fine. I just have other things I'm preferring to use. Ooh, I do like the Glossier Flex Foundation. Is that what you're called? I think so. Mine's in the shade Very Light 1. It's a beautiful foundation. This is like light to medium depending on how much you use. It is so comfy and lightweight. I love this foundation. We have these tinted moisturizers as well. We have the Sigma Skin Tint Hydrating Tint and then the Rare Beauty Tinted Moisturizer. This one is 10N. This one is shade number 2. These are nice. Again, just very lightweight. I love a light buildable coverage. Like that's just, it's good. It looks very just like natural skin-like. I love specifically mixing these with highlighters. It just gives such a beautiful glowy look. I'm gonna keep them. I love these. These two are pretty lightweight as well. We have the Surratt, what are you even called? The Dewdrop Foundation. It's in the shade 1. This is kind of like a light to medium depending on how much you use. It's a very much like a liquidy serum-y texture. And then this is also a serum-y texture. The Super Serum Skin Tint from Ilia. This appears to be the shade Rendezvous. I like these. I really don't have any complaints with these either. And I'm itching to use these again, actually, so I think I'll keep them. And now we have these 3 remaining ones. All 3 of these are higher coverage. Like this is a full coverage dewy finish from e.l.f. The Makeup by Mario one is more of like a medium to full, I would say. And same with the Pretty Fresh Colourpop foundation, like medium to full, depending on how much I use. I don't think I need all 3 of these because they're all very similar finish. I don't want to say they're dupes of each other, but similar finish for like what I'm going for. I think the winner I'm going to keep though is the e.l.f. one. I like this hydrating camo line. I like that it's dewy. I think this is the winner in the shade Fair 120N. I think this is the one I'll keep. And these 2 are fine. I just don't think I need 3 like high coverage foundations personally. It's just not my makeup preference. So this one's Fair 10N just for reference, and this one is 2N. So yeah, that's those. Started with 20, I decluttered 8, now I have 12. This is feeling very good. Let's move on to concealer now. I don't have nearly as many of these, and this is gonna be fairly quick. We have 7 here. I think I'm just gonna get rid of like 1 or 2 of them maybe. I'm pretty content with the concealers that I use. Actually, I think the only one I'm gonna get rid of is the Smashbox Becca Under Eye Corrector in Fair Light. I don't know, like it looks fine when I use it. I just don't really think about using it very much. So I don't know, maybe it's just not something I don't know, I need in my collection. It's just not something I think about, so I'm not gonna keep it. But I think everything else I will. Like I have this Salt New York one. Again, it's probably the shade 1, like whatever the lightest is. It's a really beautiful texture. It's so, so pretty. Like a very like satin, almost like a natural dewy finish. It's really, really pretty. I like it. And again, for travel, because it's like a solid, is really nice. This is also a great one for travel, this Surratt concealer. It's really, really beautiful, very lightweight, blends out so nicely. I actually like this more than I anticipated because typically I use a concealer like this. This one kind of surprised me, but I really enjoy it. And this is in the shade number 1. And then I have these 3 liquidy ones. I have the Urban Decay Stay Naked Quickie in the shade 20NN. I have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh in the shade 10N. The e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. Regular camo is trash to me. Hydrating only. This one's in the shade Fair Warm. Either they were out of Fair Neutral or they just don't make a Fair Neutral, and that's why I picked this one. But to me, this doesn't look too warm. It doesn't look yellowy on me, in my opinion. And I have the Makeup by Mario Concealer in the shade 120. I really like all of these. They're all pretty standard liquid concealers. I would say medium to full coverage depending on how much you use. They leave a very natural finish. I set all of my concealers with powder, so that's just pretty standard, but I'm happy with all of these, and having these makes me really not feel like introducing other ones into my collection, honestly. So I'm content with these, so I'm gonna keep them. So in case you weren't following along, started with 7, got rid of 1, now I have 6. Let's move on to setting powder now. Moving on to my setting powders, I have 10. Think we can get rid of a few of these. I don't need all of these, that's for sure. I have some top favorites like the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. Best setting powder in the entire world. I'll be honest, I'd be happy getting rid of all of these and only keeping this one. I'm not gonna do that because there's some I can still just use up, and there's some that I like, but this is the ultimate one in my opinion. It's whatever the lightest shade is, translucent maybe. Light actually is what it's called. I always use either translucent or light, whatever it may be, but this is my favorite. It's my second one I've gone through. It is so beautiful. It just leaves the most natural like radiance. Like it doesn't look glittery by any means. It's not shimmery. It just leaves like a natural kind of lit within glow. It is so good. The best setting powder I've ever used in my entire life. I guess on the flip side of that, I can probably get rid of this Milk Makeup one. It's just a little too mattifying for my preference. A setting powder essentially is meant to set me down. It's gonna make things not move. It will make things tend to look more matte than if it was just creamy, you know what I mean? But this is just too matte for my preference. Mine's in the shade Translucent Light. I don't think it's a bad powder, I just don't think it's meant for me, so I don't need this one. I also did not really love this Pixie powder. This is the H2O Skin Veil Powder. It's like a water powder. It's very odd. It's in the shade Translucent. It wasn't bad. I don't know. It didn't blow me away either. I'm very neutral about it, so I don't need to keep it. This one's also a weird one. The Flower Beauty Setting Powder Spray. It's not a setting spray. It is a powder, like in a tube. Like it leaves your skin like powdery. It's weird. It didn't like cause any weird problem. Oh, see, you can see it. There's the powder. So I guess if you used a lot of it really close, this is what would happen to you. Ideally, you'd probably use it like farther away. This scares me. I don't like it. This isn't my thing. I don't want this. This Huda Beauty powder I've had for years and years and years and still haven't finished it. To be fair, I don't use it all the time. I definitely bounce around. I feel like lately I'm only grabbing for this one when I do like a full face of old makeup type video. And I'm just like not thinking to reach for it just on the regular. Between the e.l.f. one and the Sigma one, those are my two favorites. So I don't need to keep this one around anymore. I think I'm good. And this Lottie London one, this is a pink setting powder. It kind of scared me. I was worried it was gonna look really pigmentedly pink on my skin. Thankfully it doesn't. It does look better than I expected. It's very finely milled. It feels nice, it looks nice. But again, I just have other setting powders I prefer. I don't really feel the need to hoard a bunch of these. So I'm gonna declutter this one. The Sigma one, this is my other favorite. This is in the shade, I think, Vanilla Bean. I've gone through a couple of these, like even this one's getting fairly low, but I love this one. So I'll keep this one kicking around with my e.l.f. one. I think having these as my only two like loose setting powders, that makes me happy. And then I have these three pressed ones. I hoarded a bunch of NYX High Glass Powders forever ago. There was a time where I had like 7 of these just like on backup when it was getting discontinued. Finally on my last 2, this is the one I'm currently using. This is my last untouched one. I'm gonna keep these, I'll keep using them. I use these on the perimeters of my face. Like I use a loose powder on my under eyes and T-zone area. I use this on the perimeters on the days that I feel like it. If I want to set everything down, but I wanna leave a glow behind, that's what this does. And there was a time where the idea of running out of these made me sad. But at this point, like I feel like this Halo loose setting powder leaves such a natural glow that I'm not even gonna be bothered when I run out of these. I will just use this one in place of it for everything. And who knows, maybe a pressed version of this will have released by then. Fingers crossed, that'd be great. This isn't something I feel like is an absolute essential in my collection anymore like it used to be. Past Betty Jean I feel like would be sad at me if I didn't use these up. So I'm just gonna keep using them up. I'll be done with them over the next year for sure. So this will probably be my last time you see these in a declutter. So crazy, I'm down to my last 2. And I have the Rare Beauty pressed powder. I actually really like this for quick touch-ups or even for travel because it's not messy. I'm not gonna get loose powder everywhere. I can use this on my whole face. I can use it just on my under eyes. It's a pretty solid loose powder. Mine's in the shade Porcelain. This is great. I like it. I have no complaints. It's not something I use every day, but it does have a place in my collection. So with setting powder, started with 10, got rid of 5, now I have 5. I completely got that one in half. So let's move on to setting spray now. Here we are, the final 5, and this is gonna be anticlimactic because I'm not getting rid of any of these, just because I feel like this is just what I wanna have on my stock. Like I have 2 minis for when I travel. I'm at the, not really the end, I still have a good bit left, but I have 2 mini options to bring with me when I travel, and these are 2 of my favorite setting sprays ever, the Rare Beauty one and the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. This is my #1 favorite of all time. So I'm definitely keeping these for when I travel, because traveling with like one of these big guys is just like not happening. And then I have 2 Urban Decays. I have the All Nighter Hyaluronic Acid one with watermelon fruit extract. I like it. It's like kind of a, you know, a pleasant, refreshing finish. I personally don't use setting spray to make my makeup last longer. I personally don't think it does that. I think it just makes your makeup look better. Like it kind of ties everything together, sinks everything in. And this one looks really great. I also have this one that I clearly haven't even opened yet. It's just the Extra Glow All-Nighter, and I will use this when I run out of this one. This has been the one I've been currently using every day, and I'll switch to this one. I've also been testing this one out lately. This is brand new in my collection. This is the Face Hack Blur and Bond. I'll be honest, I've only used this 1 time so far, and I mean, so far, so good. It's a setting spray. I don't know if I've ever met a setting spray that I despise, if I'm being honest. Like, I have ones that I love the refreshment feeling of more than others, but this one I'm still technically testing out. I don't have full thoughts yet. I'll give you my full thoughts in my next new makeup releases roundup review at the beginning of November. But I'm gonna keep this one for now because I am still testing it out and I don't have any problems so far. If I would have had a horrible first impression, I might be decluttering it, but I still wanna keep testing this one out. So, started with 5, decluttered none. Left with 5. Let me get you my grand totals. All right, finishing everything off. We started with 59 total things today. I ended up decluttering 21 and I'm left with 38. That was pretty much right on the mark of what I was hoping for. I wanted to be somewhere between 30 and 40 total by the end, so I call this a win. I'm feeling good about it. I'm actually really excited to just have this condensed down, got rid of some things I wasn't really using or just things I frankly didn't like. So that makes me happy. For those of you who like to see the visuals, here is a picture of all 59 things I started with. Here's a picture of the 21 things that I ended up decluttering today. And here is a final picture of the 38 things that I am finishing with. I feel very good. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you love any of these? Do you hate any of these? How are you feeling? What are your preferences when it comes to these types of products? Because as you saw, I like a glow. I like a lighter coverage. I like a radiant feel. I would love to know what you're into because you might have a complete opposite opinion to me, in which case, go with the things that I decluttered probably. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually filmed the declutter portion of the video yesterday and it just felt so good. I was so excited picking out my makeup today and just like having such a clear understanding of what I own in my collection. It's felt great. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you love any of my favorites? Do you love any of my least favorites? Do we have similar taste? I would love to know. What are some of your top favorite products in each of those categories, like primer, foundation, concealer, what have you? I would love to know what your favorites are. If you made it to the end of this video, ooh, I don't know. You know, why don't you leave a fruit emoji? I don't know why, it just sounds fun. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm BATTYBEAN there as well. Also, if you want to, you can subscribe. I'm posting most days over here and you can join my channel memberships. The link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only video once a month. Thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.